Good evening. We begin with an update on the city's latest homicide. A 60-year-old man has been arrested and is now facing a charge of second-degree murder. The female victim was found dead inside a North York home earlier this month, but the cause of her death hasn't been released. Just after 1:30 on March 11th, 60-year-old Zhan Wei Xiao was found dead inside a home in the area of Threadneedle Crescent and Cresthaven Drive. That's near Leslie and Finch. Police said the circumstances in which she was found have been deemed suspicious, but they haven't given further details on how the woman was killed. Shenglong Wang has since been arrested. The relationship between the suspect and the victim is not clear. Xiao is the city's 4th homicide victim of the year. Anyone with information is asked to contact police. Police are searching for a suspect after a stabbing in Etobicoke this afternoon. It happened just after 2 p.m. near Kipling Avenue and Dixon Road. Police say a man was taken to hospital with serious, non-life-threatening injuries. The motive is under investigation. The suspect fled the scene. No suspect information has been released at this time. Anyone with information is asked to come forward. 3 teenage boys have been charged in an assault and a robbery on a GO train, leaving 1 person with life-threatening injuries. Police say 2 victims were on a westbound Lakeshore East train on Monday afternoon when they were assaulted and robbed before being pushed onto the platform at Rouge Hill Station. 2 14-year-old boys and a 16-year-old are each facing multiple charges for aggravated assault and robbery. Anyone who witnessed the incident is asked to get in touch with police. All lanes of Lakeshore Boulevard near Ontario Place have reopened after major flooding caused by a water main break this morning. Both eastbound and westbound lanes were shut down earlier between British Columbia Road and Ontario Drive as water poured onto the downtown arterial road around 7:30 this morning. The city says the cause of the water main break remains under investigation, and there is no timeline yet for full cleanup and permanent repairs. Drivers can expect minor delays in the area. Athletes from around the world have descended on our city this weekend for the world's largest hockey tournament for players who are blind. It is the 12th year for the event, efforting to make the game more accessible for players of all ages and skill levels wanting to get out on the ice. CTV's Mike Walker joins us live now from inside the Mattamy Athletics Centre where the tournament is taking place this weekend. Mike.
Well, Natalie, when this tournament started about 12 years ago, there was only 2 teams and 40 players participating. And every year, more and more teams register as organizers spread awareness about blind hockey programs across Canada and beyond.
The rattling noise of a large adapted puck with ball bearings inside echoes throughout the Mattamy Athletics Centre as players of all ages with 10% vision or less compete in the Canadian National Blind Hockey Tournament.
Everything they do is based off that sound.
Aiden started playing hockey when he was young, but had to stop after he lost his vision. He says this opportunity to play the game he loves has had a big impact on his life.
It's something that's allowed me to play the sport I love at such a high competitive level that I never thought I could because of my vision.
This is the 12th year for the tournament, which is the largest of its kind in the world, with a record-setting 200 athletes competing in 6 divisions from children to adults.
Hockey is so woven into our cultural fabric that everybody wants to be a part of the game and everybody should have a place to play.
Making the sport accessible for players of all ages and skill levels, like Wayne St. Dennis, who has been playing blind hockey for nearly 30 years.
It's a big community, and everybody's here for the same reasons. And now with these tournaments, you get to compete, which is fantastic.
And Ruby Coleman, who joined the youth program in Vancouver 3 years ago.
I learned to skate on the team, which was so much fun. These are like some of the best people I've met, and it's so good to have that support system.
The event also includes the 7th annual International Series, which features Team Canada and Team USA, and for the first time, Team World, largely made up of players from Finland and the UK.
When we come together on this ice, we're all equals.
Kelly Serbu captains Team Canada.
I wouldn't have thought this late in sort of my playing career will say that I'm actually playing what I believe to be meaningful hockey.
The goal is to grow the sport globally.
Our goal is to get an 8-country world championships going in the next 4 to 5 years, which would allow us to potentially apply for inclusion into the Winter Paralympic Games,
while continuing to build blind hockey programs for all ages across the country.
And as organizers continue that work to promote blind hockey programs across the globe, they are hoping that Finland will have a national team represented here at next year's tournament. Reporting live, I'm Mike Walker. Natalie, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Still ahead this hour as Toronto gets set to host the World Cup this summer. One nearby city is asking to extend alcohol service in bars so fans who were not attending the games can enjoy them in a social setting. More on that a little later in the newscast. But first, former MPP Randy Hillier will be facing a revived criminal case linked to the 2022 Convoy protests. Hillier was charged in connection with his alleged role in the demonstrations that flooded Ottawa's downtown core for weeks. Participants spoke out against COVID-19 measures and the federal government. The independent MPP had faced accusations including assaulting a peace officer, but the charges were stayed in 2024 after a judge ruled it had taken too long for the case to go to trial. But this week, an appeal judge ruled otherwise and sent the case back to Superior Court. Hillier had previously welcomed the dropping of the charges.
A new report is outlining 5 ways the province can step in to help the city tackle its congestion crisis. The report from the Toronto Region Board of Trade calls for the use of automated enforcement to crack down on vehicles that block intersections. It also recommends fewer lane closures through coordinated construction, targeted upgrades to major highway bottlenecks, and says the amount of money the city charges for lane closures should more closely reflect the socioeconomic costs.
Obviously, the province is already doing a lot in terms of building new transit infrastructure like the Ontario line. But, in the meantime, there are sort of smaller interventions that can be done very quickly to help the city deal with the congestion crisis as you described it. And some of the ones are what you mentioned. Also, really focusing on transit fare and service integration so that people can use GO more easily for the same fare as local transit, or also, routes running across municipal boundaries work a little bit better.
The report comes as new data shows traffic is continuing to get worse, with Toronto drivers stuck in traffic for roughly 100 hours last year. That's more than 4 days.
Toronto's Integrity Commissioner says Chris Moyes violated the City Council Code of Conduct during an interaction with a constituent last year. The finding comes following a heated interaction that occurred on January 16, 2025 between Moyes and Daniel Tate, the executive director of the advocacy group Integrity TO, who is also a constituent. Days after the interaction, Tate filed a complaint to the Integrity Commissioner, who concluded that Moyes violated Article 14 of the Code of Conduct, saying the councillor acted in a derogatory manner toward an individual while in his official role. Responding to the ruling, Moyes said he respectfully disagrees with the Integrity Commissioner and has no regrets. The Integrity Commissioner is not recommending that Moyes be penalized for the violation. Well, with spring finally here, the city's getting ready for annual controlled fires in High Park and Lambton Park. Officials say the yearly prescribed burns help to protect and restore local ecosystems. The burns are taking place in collaboration with the Indigenous Land Stewardship Circle, and they are expected to take place sometime late this month or in early April, depending on weather conditions. The city says it'll warn residents 24 to 48 hours in advance. Roads in the area will be closed, and those with respiratory conditions will be advised to stay indoors with windows closed.
We'll have more news in a moment, but first here's a live look at the city this hour. Mainly cloudy conditions this hour, but look at that plane passing by. That's a nice shot. But the cloudy conditions, those are going to change because as we show you right now, there is a special weather statement in effect, not for us in the GTA, but just to the north and east of us. Our friends in Barrie, Kingston, Parry Sound, Ottawa, and even up in Sault Ste. Marie, they could be seeing some mixing and freezing rain. And while we are not under a special weather alert, there is some activity coming our way. You can see that right there. We will be dealing with some showers, most likely overnight. From a temperature perspective, actually, first let's talk about the winds. 15 kilometers per hour in Hamilton, same in Windsor and Niagara Falls. The temperatures, 3 degrees in Hamilton, 1 degree in Barrie, Peterborough, Bancroft, and right at the freezing mark in Parry Sound. For us at the islands right now, 3 degrees, Pearson Airport, still a little bit of sunshine. Tonight, as I mentioned, this is where we could see some showers. 2 degrees will be our overnight low, along with a light wind. We'll tell you how long the showers are going to last and where way the temperatures are heading in a little bit. Natalie.
Okay, thanks, Raheem. Israel's defense minister says Israeli and U.S. attacks against Iran will be stepped up significantly in the coming days.
This comes as the Islamic regime retaliates across the region. and it remains unclear how long the conflict will continue to escalate. Iranian news agencies are reporting at least one child was killed in U.S. or Israeli strikes on a hospital and tourist site in the country's southwest. The death toll has risen to more than 1,300 people in Iran, with millions displaced. There were also reports the country's main nuclear enrichment facility was hit in an airstrike today. The UN's nuclear watchdog said it was looking into the incident, but there's been no increase in off-site radiation levels. Israel said it wasn't aware of a strike there, but Iran later fired missiles at the southern Israeli city of Dimona in what state media said was retaliation. 20 people were reported hurt in the attack. Dimona is where it's long been suspected Israel has secret atomic weapon facilities, but it's never confirmed nor denied that claim. In the meantime, the Wall Street Journal is reporting Iran launched 2 intermediate-range ballistic missiles towards a joint U.S. and U.K. base in the Indian Ocean. Neither missile hit their target. This comes as the British government gives authorization for the U.S. to use its military bases. That authorization is specifically so U.S. forces can carry out strikes on Iranian missile sites attacking ships in the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. military today said it's on plan to eliminate Iran's ability to project meaningful power outside its borders.
It's only been a few weeks of action here, and the hunters are becoming the hunted. This week is the beginning signs of the next phase of what is happening, which is defections from the military. And the messages to the people from the Crown Prince, Reza Pahlavi, and from President Trump is to stay in their homes, wait until the moment that it'll be safe for them to come out on the streets to demand a new system.
Other analysts say it's not so clear what will play out in Iran. A human rights group says at least 27 death sentences have been issued against Iranians who took part in protests earlier this year. This week, a 19-year-old wrestler and 2 other young men were hanged. They were the first to be executed from among the tens of thousands arrested in the deadliest crackdown by Iranian security since the Islamic Republic took power in 1979.
Lebanese state media says several areas of that country were hit by Israeli airstrikes as Hezbollah militants continue to launch rockets into Israel. This video shows strikes hitting one town in southern Lebanon, where Hezbollah says its fighters are taking part in ongoing clashes with Israeli forces. The Iran-backed group also said it fired salvos of rockets and drones toward military posts along the border with Israel. Israel's strikes across Lebanon's southeast and its capital, Beirut, have killed more than 1,000 people, and evacuation orders have forced more than 1 million people to flee their homes. Meanwhile, emergency crews were called to this scene earlier today in central Israel. Officials say fragments of an Iranian missile struck a kindergarten. There were no reports of casualties, but a military spokesperson accused Iran of targeting civilians with cluster bombs.
CTV political analyst Eric Ham says the rush to deal with a surge in energy prices sparked by the war with Iran is undermining several other American priorities.
Not only have we seen the president lift these sanctions on Iran, but we've also seen the president desperately pleading with China for help. China is a strategic competitor of the United States. And we also have seen the lifting of sanctions on Russia. And of course, those sanctions on Russia have actually helped to stifle Russia's capabilities and abilities to continue its attacks on Ukraine. We know the United States for the last 4 years have been sending enormous amounts of military aid to Ukraine as well.
Ham says it appears the president is getting frustrated with the situation and that the U.S. isn't faring well when it comes to the narrative and optics of the conflict.
And here at home, drivers are feeling the pressure of rising fuel prices at the pumps as a result of the conflict in the Middle East. Drivers across the GTA are paying an average of $1.72 a liter today, up 2 cents from yesterday. And prices are again expected to jump tomorrow by another 6 cents, the highest level since April of 2024. Some experts also warn diesel prices could rise by as much as 20 cents a liter this weekend. Meanwhile, United Airlines says it is temporarily cutting about 5% of its flights as the price of jet fuel surges from effects of the war in Iran. The airline CEO says if fuel prices remain at current levels, it could cost United an additional $11 billion a year. He adds the company hopes to restore its full flight schedule by the fall. A prominent figure during the first Trump administration has died.
Robert Mueller was the special counsel appointed by the U.S. Justice Department to investigate claims of Russian interference in the 2016 presidential race. Mueller was a former FBI chief appointed in 2017 to investigate whether the Trump campaign had illegally coordinated with Russia to sway the outcome of the previous year's presidential race. After years of what the president called a witch hunt, Mueller brought criminal charges against 6 of Trump's associates. But his long-awaited final report said the Constitution wouldn't allow the criminal justice system to formally accuse the sitting president of wrongdoing. The cause of death is not yet known, but Mueller had been suffering from Parkinson's disease. He was 81. The U.S. president took to social media commenting on Mueller's passing, saying, quote, "Good, I'm glad he's dead. He can no longer hurt innocent people." Ukrainian and U.S. negotiators opened a new round of talks in Florida today aimed at pushing towards an end of war with Russia. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said it was important that diplomacy continues to end a war that no one wants. The White House described the latest meeting as constructive. Russia did not take part as Moscow and Kyiv accuse each other in ongoing deadly strikes this weekend.
In South Korea, at least 14 people are now confirmed dead following a fire at an auto parts factory. The fire broke out in the city of Daejeon at around lunchtime Friday and was contained by midnight. At least 25 people were considered seriously injured, while another 35 suffered minor injuries. No word on the cause. The factory's owner said they would cooperate with authorities as they investigate. Meanwhile, Hawaii is suffering its worst flooding in more than 20 years, as heavy rains are expected to continue through the weekend. Alarm sirens blared where rising waters damaged homes. More than 230 people were rescued. Hawaii's Governor Josh Green says no deaths have been reported and everyone is accounted for, but officials are warning of the possible failure of a 120-year-old dam and more than $1 billion in damage.
5 Canadian grocery stores have been fined nearly $50,000 for mislabeling some imported food items as Canadian.
CTV's Kamal Kermali has a closer look at the claims and the retailer's response.
This grocery store in the Etobicoke neighborhood in Toronto, now one of 5 grocery stores across the country, fined by Canada's food watchdog for maple washing, labeling items incorrectly as being made in Canada when they're actually produced elsewhere.
I think it's long overdue. This is very much part of the maple washing drama that we've seen over the last several months.
5 stores fined a total of $47,000 by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, 2 in Ontario, both in Toronto, both owned by Loblaw, 1 in Atlantic Canada, and 2 from out west. But CFIA says between April of last year and mid-March of this year, it's seen more than 100 cases of stores mislabeling food items. They weren't fined, but instead received warnings or other penalties.
There's a ripple effect when something like this happens, so I think the deterrent, the general deterrent, is really the reputation. It's not as much as $10,000 if you're a large grocer.
The grocery giant Loblaw tells CTV News, with thousands of items on our shelves, information can change quickly, and there are times when signage may not be updated as quickly as inventory is replenished. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
A Canadian low-cost airline is now reviewing its baggage sizers at airports in response to a CTV News investigation.
This after an Edmonton man had luggage custom built to fit Flair Airlines specifications, only to discover it didn't pass. CTV's Connor Hogg has the story.
As travelers rush to catch their flights at YEG, most have made sure their carry-ons and personal items are the right size.
I measure it before, before I carry it.
I wanted to carry on my bag, but it was just too much. So kind of stood there for I want to say 5-10 minutes, just holding up the line.
After several financial hits, one frequent Flair flyer decided to take matters into his own hands.
I've flown with Flair quite a few times, and every single time I would go and you put your bag in the sizer there, and it just never fits.
So Andre Grondin had this custom suitcase built to the exact personal item specifications on Flair's website, with a width slightly less than Flair's published 6 inches. When he tried to take his new bag on a Flair flight, the the custom-built briefcase didn't fit.
The sizer, it turns out, is about an eighth smaller than what it's listed as, you know, the dimensions that are given on your boarding pass. You'll see on any given day dozens of customers and people at the gate saying, you know, getting this extra charge, this last minute fee that you're not aware of, and oh, well, here, put it in that sizer. Oh, it doesn't fit in there, you got to pay.
In response, Flair told CTV Today, our baggage sizers are designed to match the dimensions outlined in our policy. However, in this instance, the experience fell short of our standard. Flair contacted Brendon and offered to refund his baggage charges. Flair also told him the sizer was damaged.
I don't believe that to be the case. There's nothing damaged about that sizing rack.
Brendon is now considering a class action lawsuit. Flair says it's initiating a network-wide review of its baggage sizers to ensure consistency with its published dimensions. Customers whose baggage doesn't fit in Flair's sizers pay a fee between $29 and $109 Canadian dollars plus tax. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Mississauga City Council has approved a motion requesting bars and restaurants be allowed to serve alcohol until 3 a.m. during this summer's World Cup. The city says the request will now go to the Registrar of the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario. The motion says the extension would coincide with late-night matches and support local businesses while allowing fans to watch together. The World Cup runs from June 11th to July 19th.
And a heads up for transit riders, there are some disruptions to keep in mind before heading out this weekend. There is no subway service on Line 1 between St. Clair West to St. Andrew today and tomorrow for track work. There will be partial shuttle bus service between St. Clair West and St. George stations, but there will be no shuttle buses between St. George and St. Andrew stations. Regular service is back to normal Monday morning. And Lakeshore West GO trains aren't running this weekend between Union Station and Aldershot for track work. GO buses will be running, but will only be servicing some stations. Commuters are advised to check the GO Transit website for full details.
Still ahead, a wish fulfilled for a terminally ill Ontario teen. We get the scoop on his trip of a lifetime to Florida to see his favorite team in spring training action when we return.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Welcome back. Well, because you are on the desk with me, can I ask you some parenting advice?
At your own risk.
You're so experienced and seasoned.
Go right ahead.
So Kaya is turning 1 next Monday.
Okay.
And we were going to start a birthday for just very small. It was just going to be me, Shai, our parents.
Okay.
Yada, yada, yada. It's a 50-person party now.
Trampoline park?
Close. How do you keep this all in check? It's getting out of control.
The people?
You know, the
numbers?
people, the numbers, the food, the logistics. How do you keep your sanity, and how do you keep things kind of so everyone enjoys, but that you still walk away with some hair at the end of it?
So what we have started doing is just renting a gym.
Ooh.
And then the kids can invite as many friends as they want.
Yeah.
BYOB, bring your own ball. And,
Lovely, yes.
and then the kids just run around and burn it all
That's
off in
good.
the
They
gym.
burn all their energy.
Yeah, you throw some pizzas down,
Yeah.
a cake at the end. And
I like this.
yeah, so it's something we've started doing as the boys have gotten a bit older, but I feel like it could still work for toddlers.
I knew you were the right person.
Yeah, we were just talking about sports. Raheem's going to play in the hockey tournament, a softball tournament.
Well,
so there
I'd
you
love
go.
to if someone
The dry
invites
land
me.
training begins
Yeah,
at the birthday
exactly.
party. There you are.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. All right, let's get to the weather, shall we? You saw behind us there that some people were out on Nathan Phillips Square enjoying some skating, and why not? Here's a look at the weather today from an almanac perspective. The sun rose at 7:19 a.m. Our record high for this time of year came back in 2012 at 23 degrees. Our record low back in 1939 at minus 16 degrees. Normal for this time of year, a daytime high of 6 degrees. And so we haven't quite reached that, but we're in the ballpark of it. Right now, temperatures 2 degrees in the city of Toronto. Windsor, though, they're at 6 degrees. So how about that? Here's your evening at a glance. I mentioned earlier that there will be a chance of showers throughout the overnight hours, and that's going to be sticking with us for a part of the day tomorrow. And you can see that will be the story throughout the evening. As we look at our lows tonight, overnight low will be 2 degrees, normal for this time of year, -3. So from a low perspective, we are above seasonal. As you wake up tomorrow, by 9 a.m. already 4 degrees. And what I mentioned here, we continue to deal with the showers, 80% chance of showers along with a light wind. Daytime temperatures tomorrow, 7 degrees in Toronto. That's above normal. And you can see London, Hamilton, Niagara Falls, Goderich, they're all above seasonal. However, our friends in Owen Sound, Orillia, Parry Sound, even Bancroft, they are below normal for this time of year. So here's a look at the forecast radar as we move the system through. You can see that by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, this is the system that will be passing by. We're not done with everything because there still may be some scattered showers in the afternoon, but the bulk of the system will have passed. Then as we make our way into Monday, there is a chance of some scattered flurries, and then we get some cloud cover as we make our way on to Monday evening. So let's show you the 7-day forecast. There you see the 30% chance of flurries on Monday. From a temperature perspective, we are well above freezing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, even reaching 6 degrees. That does come with a 60% chance of mixing, and then Friday right around the freezing mark. So consistent pretty much from a temperature perspective, but we are still dealing with some mixed precipitation. Natalie.
Thank you, Rahim. Well, Monday will mark the day that many Algoma Steel employees have been dreading, with many workers set to be out of a job.
As CTV's Corey Nordstrom reports, not all of the 1,000 employees will be laid off immediately, but many of them are now preparing for life after the steel plant.
Monday will mark the final shift for many workers at Algoma Steel. Union officials have been working to ensure those laid off are being treated properly as hundreds leave their posts.
We're all humans making all these decisions on who should stay and who shouldn't based on seniority, and people are phoning in. We're having to go back and double check our work to make sure that it is based on the collective agreement.
Since early January, the Power Action Center has been the site of training and education about the options available for these workers and contractors. As of today, they've had over 400 sign-ups for their assistance. Many of the Algoma Steel employees set to be laid off have already retired, resigned, or are on sick leave, meaning much less than 1,000 will be off the job come Monday.
People wanted to wait and see what their status, layoff status would be. But very soon we're going to see a lot more people coming through the door because, as you know, Monday there's going to be at least probably, I would guess, estimate 300 people that will be laid off initially. And then, so many more after that.
Power Center officials say they are preparing for things to get even busier next week as things become clearer for laid-off employees.
There's one session going on at number 2 gate at Algoma Steel in their computer lab, and next week there's going to be, it's booked all week here with the Service Canada rep here to go through the understanding the rules of play for EI, as well as getting them registered into a Service Canada account.
This afternoon, the federal government gave an extension to its employment insurance special measures that steelworkers union officials have been calling for in the Sioux.
People are making hard decisions with that. Now with this announcement, it looks like the members will have an extra 6 months to make the decision whether they want to maintain their recall rights with the company or if they want to ask for their severance and move on with their life.
Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
In sports, Toronto FC was in action this afternoon looking for their first win at home this season.
83rd minute. And this one is headed into the back post and in.
After Columbus opened the scoring less than 5 minutes in, the Reds battled back, taking the lead in the latter stages of the game off a corner kick. TFC held on to win 2-1 for their second win of the season. They are back on the pitch next Saturday, hosting the Colorado Rapids.
And to the ice, the Leafs are back in action tonight in the Battle of Ontario.
Machelli recovers. Nylander off the boards to the net. Scores! Beauty! Game tied.
Yeah, they tied the game, but the Buds are coming off a 4-3 overtime loss to the Eastern Conference leading Carolina Hurricanes last night. The Leafs, who currently sit last in their division, head to Ottawa tonight to take on the surging Senators, who are in the hunt for a playoff spot. Puck drop tonight is set for 7 p.m.
The Raptors were looking to push their win streak to 4, facing another tough test against the Denver Nuggets last night.
Mamu in the corner. Walter!
Toronto looked strong for most of the game leading into the final quarter, but the Nuggets rallied late, pulling away for a 121-115 win. Kitchener's Jamal Murray led Denver with 31 points in the victory. Despite the loss, the Raptors remain 5th in the Eastern Conference and continue its 5-game road trip tomorrow when they head to Phoenix to take on the Suns.
We have a heartwarming update now to a story we first brought you last month about a terminally ill Ontario teen with a dream to see his favorite team in action.
Well, that wish has now been fulfilled. 17-year-old Wesley Johnson making the trip down to Florida to see the Blue Jays in spring training and spend time with some of his idols. CTV's Brendon has the story.
This one's an autograph ball I got from the training center when I went to go see Trey and David Schneider.
Wesley Johnson can't stop smiling about his experience with the Toronto Blue Jays. With a failing heart, the dying wish of the St. Thomas teenager was to see a spring training game and meet his favorite player, Trey Savage.
There definitely isn't words to explain how incredibly thankful and grateful we are to everybody who either, donated, shared the GoFundMe, made a phone call, made an email, tagged a post. The Jays definitely knew we were coming, so they spoiled us rotten.
What's going on? What's up, man? How you doing? What's your name?
The day started by meeting Savage and David Schneider, then a full tour of the spring training complex.
I was definitely shocked that I was able to go down to field level during their warm-up and watch their batting practice up close, so that was definitely cool. I got to meet a few players there, too.
This is Wes right here, man. We're the biggest fans here.
Those players included George Springer, Addison Barger, and Dalton Varsho. He got the full VIP experience and watched the Jays beat the Braves 7-0.
Since we've been home, we've talked nonstop about the game and how incredible the experience was, and he's told me that the day of the game is the best day of his life, except for the day that his two little brothers were born.
We first met Wes last month when his family held a living celebration of life. His health is declining rapidly, even forcing them to end their Florida trip early.
Things did not go super well for him in terms of his health after the game, but he rallied through the day, put his all into it. The Jays put their all into it, and it turned out to be one of the most incredible experiences.
And as he spends his final few days with family, he's remembering this special experience.
It's definitely a dream come true.
Brendon, CTV News.
Still ahead on CTV News, colorful costumes on full display this weekend as sci-fi and anime lovers unite for the annual Comic-Con convention. We head to the Metro Toronto Convention Centre when we return.
Updating our top stories, an arrest has been made in connection with the city's latest homicide on March 11th. 60-year-old Zhan Wei Xiao was found dead inside a home near Leslie and Finch. Police haven't given further details on how she was killed, but they say 60-year-old Shenglong Wang has since been arrested on a charge of second-degree murder. Anyone with information is asked to contact investigators.
It's not safe for pedestrians. It's not safe for drivers. It blocks cars going the other way.
The Toronto Region Board of Trade is calling for automated enforcement to be used to crack down on vehicles that block intersections. That is one of 5 ideas outlined in its report to the province, urging action on the city's congestion crisis. Other proposals include better coordination of construction and higher charges for lane closures.
It's something that's allowed me to play the sport I love at such a high competitive level that I never thought I could because of my vision.
And athletes from around the globe have descended on the Mattamy Athletic Center this weekend for the world's largest hockey tournament for players who are blind. A record-setting 200 athletes of all ages are taking part in the Canadian National Blind Hockey Tournament.
Today marks what might be a surprising milestone for some. It has been 20 years since the first tweet was sent out. On this date in 2006, founder Jack Dorsey wrote on the site, "Just setting up my Twitter." The social media platform then exploded in popularity with hundreds of millions of users coming to rely on it for everything from their social lives to news to critical information. It was renamed X following its takeover by Elon Musk in 2022. Attorneys for Musk say they plan to appeal a jury's finding that he defrauded Twitter shareholders through statements about the prevalence of bot accounts on the website.
Canada's biggest celebration of sci-fi, anime, gaming, and cosplay has once again taken over the Metro Toronto Convention Centre. Comic-Con is in full swing this weekend. Thousands taking part in the three-day event filled with celebrity appearances and merchandise from fan-favorite franchises. Highlights include a 35th anniversary screening of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, that brings back memories. A Marvel Play Zone and a Beyblade Battle Arena. I don't know what that is. Do you know what that is, Natalie? Okay, good. The event, of course, also filled with lots of cosplay, and we caught up with some attendees on their costume creations.
Alice in Wonderland, because I just like cosplaying, and I also want to showcase one of the bows I've made myself to kind of go with the fit.
What do you like about Toronto Comic Con? What keeps you coming back?
The people and cosplaying, because like that's my community, and also seeing like all the creative creations. Because creative, I like to use my imagination, so I like to see what other people create and then collaborate and make more friends that are in the same niche.
I think it's just like all the booths, the different art I get to see, the people around here, seeing all the other cool cosplays is really, I think is why I keep coming back.
It's just always fun. There's always something new and exciting. They always have like new people there, and there's always like a good vibe. Like you can talk to anybody and they're always just gonna compliment you. They're just gonna be like, oh, you look so amazing. It's so fun. Just vibes really.
Just vibes. Comic-Con continues until 7 tonight and 10 until 5 on Sunday.
More than 40,000 fans gathered in Seoul, South Korea as BTS marked their long-awaited comeback performance following a hiatus for their military service.
Joining us tonight. It's been a long journey, but now we're finally here.
The concert kicks off a global tour that will see the band play 2 shows in Toronto this summer. The group released its 5th album yesterday and has already sold more than 4 million copies. BTS will play Rogers Stadium in Toronto August 22nd and 23rd as part of a massive world tour.
Last week's Academy Awards may have wrapped up another season of cinema, but new films continue to make waves at the box office and on streaming services. Earlier this week, our Andrea Case chatted with film critic Richard Krause on some of his top picks.
The reason we have Richard Krause talking about films and television is because if you depended on my opinion, you probably would be completely steered wrong. So let's bring in Richard Krause now. Richard, Project Hail Mary. Now, I haven't seen it, but the trailer, I'm thinking, if I woke up from a coma of many years, my hair would not look great. Ryan Gosling seems to look great in this movie. Maybe I've missed something because I haven't seen it. Richard, yeah, tell me if this is a good movie because I'm not getting it.
Oh, this is one of the best movies of the year.
What?
This is, Project Hail Mary. You've got Ryan Gosling. When he first wakes up, his hair doesn't look great. So, I mean, they do something to the hair as the movie goes on. But he plays a high school teacher who ends up as the lone astronaut on an Earth-saving mission. He wakes up, he has amnesia, he cannot remember why he's there, doesn't remember that many details about his life. And over time, the details start coming back. And then he discovers that he's not really alone up there. There is another ship that attaches to his ship that has one occupant as well, and it's this alien who they call Rocky because he kind of looks like a rotisserie chicken with 5 arms made of stone. And they form a relationship, and they try and save both their planets from this microbe that's going to eat the sun and freeze everybody out. And this is a movie that is about optimism. It is about uplift. It's really funny. It is really poignant. My wife needed 4 to 5 Kleenexes as we watched it together. This is a really touching movie that has a great central performance from Ryan Gosling, who is on screen alone for 90% of the movie and carries it. The guy's a movie star. It's called Project Hail Mary. It's in theaters now, and it's worth a look.
Once again, you've earned your money today. Okay, so Richard, when I was a kid in Sunday school, I was told dinosaurs did not exist and the Earth was only 10,000 years old. So imagine my surprise when in school I learned about dinosaurs. Well, Steven Spielberg is back to remind me just how incredible these beasts were. He's got a new show called The Dinosaurs on Netflix. Sorry, anybody who doesn't believe in dinosaurs, but apparently they're real.
Well, and this uses incredible technology to create the world of the dinosaurs. It looks fantastic, but it has a scientific basis behind it. So it's not Jurassic Park. It's not, anything like that. This is something that feels like a really, really super high-end movie that you might have been shown in high school, you know, about dinosaurs. But they've got these dinosaurs that they bring back to life in absolutely astonishing detail, and it is Steven Spielberg, so you know that the storytelling, even though it's nonfiction, is going to be on point. It's going to take you from one point to another. You'll learn something, and you'll be entertained at the same time, called The Dinosaurs, and it's on Netflix right now.
Okay, real quick before we go, Ready or Not 2, Here I Come.
This is a sequel to a movie that came out about 7 years ago about a woman on her wedding night about to marry into a very rich family, discovers that she has one sort of initiation ritual to go through, which is they're all going to try and hunt her and kill her in an elaborate game of hide and seek. So, no spoiler here, the movie is 7 years old. She survives that. She's back now because surviving that game means that it triggered another game. And the thing that I didn't like about this new movie, even though I like Samara Weaving, who stars in it very much, is that it takes the characters who were at least a little bit nuanced and turns them from the first film and turns them into cartoonishly evil people without that hint of absurdity that made the first movie so much fun. So Ready or Not 2, Here I Come, didn't work for me as well as the first one.
Okay, coming up at 11:30, we're going to talk about The Things You Kill. This was Canada's submission for International Film for the Academy Award. It didn't get the nomination, but it's out in theaters now. Thanks, Richard.
Thank you.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer star Nicholas Brendon has died.
I don't know you, do I?
I'm Buffy. I'm new.
Xander is me. Hi.
Brendon was best known for his role as Xander on the 90s cult classic. Since the show's end, he had faced numerous challenges, including multiple stints in rehab and run-ins with law enforcement. Families say he died in his sleep from natural causes at the age of 54.
Coming up on CTV News, how people from across the globe are working together to help a digital avatar complete a worldwide journey. We have more on the Newfoundland-based creation when we return. A St. John's web developer has created a digital creature of sorts and sent it on a long journey.
As CTV's Garrett Barry explains, he's thrilled by the response as strangers from across the globe help the avatar reach its final destination.
This little wanderer is on a mission. We don't know exactly where or even really why. It just moves forward.
So that you don't really know what's happening, and I kind of wanted that to pull people in, kind of the strange kind of mystery of it all.
And only moving with the help of internet users all over the world who have clicked and tapped countless times over the past week to move this digital avatar thousands of digital kilometers.
One of the features on the site is when somebody feeds the creature, you can see a flag come up from the country that they're in. So I've been seeing flags from all over the world come up, and there's a little chat room in there as well, and there's been a lot of positive chat.
It's the creation of web developer Justin Gray, put together in a day of coding with some feedback from his 2 children and run off a mini computer in his house. It's become something more, a rare positive space that for now takes nothing from its users, not their names nor any money, not even a username or password.
I think people just want some good vibes, something, something to root for, something positive, and it's something that everybody can get behind. There's no competition with each other, there's no payments, there's no ads on the website. It's just everybody get together, help this creature get to where it's going.
Though Gray says it would be nice to make some money, right now this project isn't costing him very much. The avatar will soon finish its first journey, that 6,000 virtual kilometer distance, roughly the equivalent of traveling from St. John's to Calgary. Gray says there's another act to come.
I'm still working on fleshing a few things out, but yeah, I've got a general idea what's going to happen there.
But won't reveal his secrets as to what comes next. Garrett Barry, CTV News, St. John's.
Well, before we go, let's take one more look at the forecast. Mostly cloudy right now outside, but there are some showers heading our way. There's also a special weather statement for our friends in Barrie, Kingston, Parry Sound, Ottawa. As we take a look at those boards, you can see some freezing rain and mixing heading their way. We'll show you the satellite radar so you can see the rain that I'm talking about coming our way. There may also be some mixing. That's that pinkish hue there. From a temperature perspective, 4 degrees in Niagara Falls, 2 degrees in Toronto. Around home tomorrow, this is the rain I'm talking about from the morning through the afternoon. 80% chance of showers. 7 degrees by 3 p.m. and that will be our daytime high tomorrow. Monday, some flurries. Tuesday, the sun appears, but that comes with some mixing. Thursday, all the way up to 6 degrees, some mixing as well, but there is a fair bit amount of sunshine next week, so you can enjoy that. Natalie.
That sounds great. Be sure to join us tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by our next local newscast at 11:30.
In the meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and online at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For all of us here at CTV News, thank you for watching. Have a good night. The sun sounded great.